This is the Kalmiopsis wilderness in southwestern Oregon, and this little speck of white here is Emily Camp, which is the last remaining inholding in the Kalmiopsis wilderness. And this is why they want to run me out. I'm not going to let them. This is the original Emily cabin, and it burned down during the Biscuit Fire in 2002. Beyond up there was the kitchen, and this down here, I believe this was the garage. There were a couple of people living here back in the 60s and 70s, and they were miners. They were working the bench below us. That's what I know about it to the extent of records that I've read. There are other records, but I just haven't had the time to read them. But there is a lot of history about this. There's a lot of mining that's been done right below us and behind me. That whole bench down there was ground sluiced. The best I can recollect from the records I read is they had a source of water. I think I can hear a creek right up behind us, and that was the water that they used to ground sluice this bench behind me.
Got it?
Careful that starting piece. Yeah.
The Lynn Peterson cabin, a little over an hour hike from the Emily Camp.
We're inside the Lynn Peterson cabin, dated back to the 1930s or 40s. I'm standing in the old original kitchen. You can see in the background here the dishes are still in the cabinet. Isn't this amazing? I bet. But they just left it the way it is. Look at that. Lots of dishes. This looks like an old shower. Yeah, there's a mirror. Yeah, it's still plumbed. And look at that, there's an old hot water heater in here too. Isn't that something right there?
Amazing they packed that hot water heater all the way out here.
I wonder how they heated it. Does it look like it was propane or something?
The stove was right here. They must have had it going into the stove.
Oh, wood stove, yeah, that's right. Okay, that makes sense. There's cabinets in here too.
Interesting, they put wallpaper out here.
Amazing. It's old bed.
Yeah. We're way out in the middle of nowhere, and all this had to be packed in. It was over an hour hike just to get here from our camp.
Yeah, no roads.
No roads.
Everything was hiking.
And not much of a trail either.
Is it broken?
I don't think so.
Huh? Fine.
A little washing machine on the porch.
Now that is something that's got some real character to it. This is really old. What era would this be? Probably, what, 30s maybe? But this is a pump, okay? Here you got your intake. This is your output. This is a wagon wheel, or some kind of wheel. It's all mounted on like a wheelbarrow frame. It's a single piston engine. There's a flywheel on that side, so you could start it. Isn't that something else? Survived the fire, at least. How about this old porcelain pot lid?
Yeah.
That survived too.
Lots of
That's an old relic.
lots of interesting old artifacts.
Yeah, spoke wheels.
Yeah.
What, 1930s again, you think?
Yeah. Here's the old outhouse. Still in pretty good shape.
Well, you know, I started mining about 25 years ago, maybe a little bit further than that. I came out of the Marine Corps, and I met a gentleman on the campus of University of Oregon, walking two great big pack dogs. That's kind of how it started. I say, wow, these are the biggest dogs I've ever seen. Why are they wearing all these big packs? And he used to pack in to his claim. Of course, he'd stay 90 days at a time, and I just came out of the Corps. I was feeling good and said, geez, I don't know anything about gold mining, and he'd spent almost 40 years doing it himself. So I went up with him. It was he had all of City Creek, 26 claims. Took him 20-some years to claim it. So I spent a little over a year, all the way till it snowed on us, packing in with those dogs, and I got just a bite of it. I think, okay, so I'd be probably 21 years old, 20, 21. And got a bite of the gold bite. Why do I do it? I love, of course, I love the beauty of Oregon, love nature, and the mining. I mean, how, you know, laid the economic foundation for everything to follow. Just it's natural. I love these folks here, great guys that kind of want to get back to the basics. There's nothing more rewarding than, you know, of course we're dredging now. I don't care if it's high banking, I don't care if it's a sluicing, whatever we're doing, but there's nothing more rewarding than just being out in beautiful Mother Nature. Every morning, Tony and I get down to the falls and we look up and we look at each other and say, gee, it's another day at the office, beautiful. And then, you know, and then what do you know? You might get like today, you might get a nice nugget or two. So makes it even better.